Okay, well, hello everyone and welcome back to another segment of All Things Real Estate. And today, like usual, I have a special guest in studio, and today I have Fred Cullen from Green Team Junk Removal. And this is a special one. So this is a guest of mine whom, you know, we've known each other for probably about 10 or so years. Not really knew each other well back then, but we knew of each other and reconnected maybe a year or two ago.
Yep.
And Fred and I, and we'll get into it in a minute. So Fred, we kind of reconnected on his business, what he was looking to do. And not only that, but recently he's purchased a property. So purchased a house in Holliston with my assistance, which was great. And I'm super proud of him for that, from where he came from to where he is. So without further ado, first and foremost, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Kyle, for having me.
And, you know, basically just explain, first of all, I know nothing. Let's pretend I know nothing about what you do.
Sure, not a
What
problem.
does Green Team Junk Removal do?
Sure. Green Team Junk Removal, we recycle, reuse, and donate 80% of everything we take. Now, that's from this table to these leather chairs. I had created Green Team Junk Removal last summer. And my mission was to start a junk removal company that really focused on the reuse and the recycle side of the business. And I was able to take a tour of Harvey's Waste and Recycling last July and learn the recycling process out in Westboro, Massachusetts.
So Green Team Junk, so unlike like a 1-800-JUNK or any of those other big franchise junk, you guys are taking this junk and you're gonna recycle it. So I'm trying to understand the business model behind that. So you come to my house, you get everything, you take everything out, right? You take everything out of there, and then what do you do with it? Where do you send it? Where do you ship it? Do you deliver it somewhere? Like, what does that look like?
Sure. So we have great relationships with Habitat for Humanity, their resale stores out in Ashland and Worcester, and also Fresh Start, which is a furniture bank, and other furniture banks without the Commonwealth in Massachusetts. So what we do is we come to a site and we'd go through everything, and what we can go ahead and donate to those charities will actually, the trucks will pull up to the resale store. The resale store representative will go on the truck, take everything that they want, and we'll drop it off there, and then the rest will go to Harvey's, where it will be recycled. Now, what a lot of people aren't aware of, Harvey's Waste and Recycling, they're one of seven or 10 transfer stations in the United States that do what they do. All plastics, all metal, all wood gets sorted out, broken down, and recycled at that plant. And they get shipped out for products for future use. Tires, looking at rubber, where tires can be used as power for power plants. So our main goal is to really work on the recycling factor. So, you know, in Massachusetts we have issues with the landfills. Now, I was just at a meeting for the New England Environmental Business Committee, and one of the conversations there is, how are we really trying to take some of the capacity off of the landfills, and what are the other options we have out there? So recycle and reuse is really big, because it's not going to the landfills, and we're able to take a product and repurpose it, which is definitely the way we should be going now.
So that's interesting. So the first thing you do, right? So you go you pick up all the junk. You go to my house. You come in. You give me a price to get all the junk out of there.
Exactly.
Right. So you're going to get everything out of my house. You're going to take everything from something really small to something really big.
Yes.
There's really nothing that you're going to say no to.
Exactly.
Right. So you're going to grab all that stuff. Then you're going to go to the Salvation Army, Habitat for Humanity, whatever that looks like, and say to them, what do you want?
Exactly.
So then they're going to pick everything off the truck that they want. And then the rest of it, you're going to go to Harvey.
Yes.
So now, when you bring this, so two things. So one, when you bring it to like the Habitat or those other basically
charities,
organizations, charities, you're not getting paid for the stuff, right?
No, I'm not.
So you're donating.
Yes.
So you're going to donate there. Now, when you go to Harvey or another transfer station that does, at some point you're going to have to grow to different transfer stations that do the recycling, because you can't bring everything back to Westboro if you start moving out of state.
Harvey's does, that's correct. Harvey's does have multiple locations that they work with in the Commonwealth.
Okay.
We are in the process of working in Rhode Island and learning their process and what transfer stations they have to further expand into
Rhode Island. So you don't have to drive from Rhode Island to Westboro.
Exactly.
So now on that, right? So when you go to Harvey's
Yes.
and you deliver the material, do you pay them?
Yes, we do.
Okay, you pay them to recycle it.
Yes.
So your cost when you come to a client's house, your cost is going to include removal,
Yes.
loading of the trucks, and then recycling.
Exactly.
So now my other question for you is there any products that you don't recycle? Are there any products that you actually can't be recycled?
That's hazardous waste. So we're talking
what do you-
gasoline, we're talking yogurt. I mean, not yogurt, sorry.
Right.
We're talking oil.
Yeah.
So, and different mixtures that just can't be broken down that are hazardous and that need to be broken down in a different environmental way that cannot go to Harvey's.
Yeah, yeah.
So we would recommend a vendor called Clean Harbors.
So you use Clean Harbor for that.
Yes.
So you wouldn't actually take those materials. You'd call Clean Harbor. You'd have the client call Clean Harbors and get the material taken out.
Exactly.
So you know what you can and can't take.
Exactly.
You're not going to get there and be surprised.
No.
So now one problem I've had in the past, 'cause I do a lot of flip stuff and a lot of investment stuff and whatnot. How often do you price a job and that price changes because there's either more or less work than you anticipated?
I'm gonna say not much because I go out and I take a look at all the
material?
all the materials myself. I do when we do flips and we do construction sites. I leave it open at the end and say, hey, if this site, if more stuff is to be added on, then we're gonna talk and figure out what the price would be.
Incremental increase.
And that's normally how we work it out with construction sites. I try to be very fair with my customers. Again, one of the things as a business owner you work with is it's just like real estate. Massachusetts and Rhode Island are two different markets. Mm-hmm. So a job in Massachusetts could be potentially higher than a job in Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. So you really want to try to keep it consistent and fair throughout the process for both states.
Right.
So and there's many different factors as to why that is. I think it's just basic economics.
Right.
States are completely different.
Right, everything, right. Stuff in Mass is obviously going to cost more than things in Rhode Island. I mean, that's just how it works.
Yes.
Right, it's just exactly economics and location and demographics.
Yep.
So that's good to know. So the good news is you go out there yourself. Right?
Yes.
So you're actually going to the site, you're meeting with the homeowner, you're meeting with the investor, and you're saying, okay, Mr. Homeowner, Mrs. Homeowner, here's what we're going to do. Are you giving them a formal proposal?
Yes, I am.
So you give a formal proposal. So this is done very professionally.
Yes.
Which is nice because a lot of junk removal companies and junk guys, they're not super professional.
No.
Right? So a lot of times Aunt Mimi or Aunt Sally who needs to sell a house, they can be intimidated. Because
Yes.
the junk guy comes in or gal comes in and they don't know, they don't know how to act around the person. Like they get intimidated from the person, right?
Exactly.
So I think with you, that's a big piece. I think that's a big factor, and that's helpful for people to understand, hey, you're going to get the owner, CEO of the company to come to my property and actually talk to me like a human being and explain what's going on.
I think customer interaction is key.
Huge.
I think them trusting the service provider
Huge.
is definitely big. And one of the things about our company is not only representing the green team, I'm representing Harvey's, I'm representing Habitat for Humanity, I'm representing Keller Williams,
Right.
And I'm representing My Box. Those
Right.
are all companies that we have relationships with, and my employees and myself have to understand that it's not just the green team. So say if you were to refer one of your clients to me,
Right.
well, you and me are constant, even though you probably are like, well, you're the junk guy, I just really want you to go and do your job. But
Right.
this is a client, you're referring me, so I want to make sure that you're in the loop of everything that's going on because your name is on that referral. So I take it very, very seriously.
And you should. And I think, it's important that when I refer anyone and you refer anyone or anyone in this business refers out, it's important that same level of service, that same level of professionalism is there. Right?
Yes.
So that's going to be the same thing they get from you, they're going to get from me.
Exactly.
That part is important, that it's transferable. So I want to dig back into your background. Right?
Sure.
So before Green Team Junk, what did you do?
I actually work for the Massachusetts Department of Corrections.
So you're a correction officer.
Recreation officer.
Recreation officer. How long were you there?
I worked for the state for 10 years.
So you worked for a while.
Yes, I did.
So you were with the state for 10 years. Where was your what correctional?
I worked
facility?
at a bunch of Pondville, Walpole, Shirley, and Norfolk and Bay State.
So you've been all over.
I
So
toured.
you've been all over. So you did the correctional tour, and why did you get out?
In 2015, I was attacked at MCI Norfolk.
You were attacked.
Yeah,
by an inmate.
Yes, and there was an assault, and when that assault was over, the final outcome was I was retired medically.
So you retired medically from the state,
Yep.
right? So you now are no longer able to work with the state, right?
No.
So you can't do that. So now you're able to go do your own thing. So where did this come from? What made you do Green Team Junk, and where did it all kind of formulate?
Well, I used to own a cleaning company, to just go in and clean some houses, make some extra money before I go into the prison. And eventually I grew that out, and I had about 5 crews going, and I just
wow.
couldn't maintain it anymore. And so my wife had quit her job to run that company. And during the time that I was out for the assault, I was just sitting around. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do in my life. So I was sitting at a Boston Celtics game. It was actually versus the New York Knicks. And I'm sat there in halftime, and I said to a colleague of mine who was at the game with me, I said, you know what, I want to get into the junk removal business. And my friend's like, okay. So during, he said, that's kind of random. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to get into it. So for that rest of that game, that second half of the game, I didn't pay too much attention on the game. I was looking up insurance policies. I was looking up other junk removal companies and what they were doing. And I went home to my wife and I said, we're going to start junk removal and we're going to start tomorrow. And she looked at me, she goes, really? And I'm like, yeah. So I turned around under the cleaning company, which was Green Team Cleaning Services. I started offering junk removal, and it took off. I did Massachusetts and I did Rhode Island under Green Team Cleaning Services, and the cleaning company had started to fade out because
Well,
competition had come in and it wasn't as
profitable,
lucrative.
right?
So what happened was then I had to stop the junk removal because I had to get back into my case because I was still going through the process to be retired. So I finally retire, and then last year was when I turned around. I said to myself, I want to rebrand and really build on this junk removal company. And I thought to myself, recycle is the new way.
Mm-hmm. People want that, right?
Yes.
The clean earth, clean environment, like that's
Exactly.
important.
Because our clients, if you think about it,
That's important.
are the younger generation.
Correct.
You deal with a lot of first-time home buyers.
Correct.
That's what I'm going to be dealing with. They are the future. They love recycling.
Correct. The millennial generation is definitely much more into the clean environment, clean earth.
Exactly.
You know, you see a lot of vegan stuff now, so there's a lot going on there with being conscious of what's going on in the environment. So I think that's smart.
So when I started this company last year, I was actually financially struggling. Really struggled. I had lost my job. My company was going down. I had lost my company. So I really had to get out and, as your term, grind. And that's when I landed the interview for Harvey's. They went in, they taught me everything. I created this logo.
You know what? I was just looking at that. That's really good. Who did that? You didn't create that. Who helped you with that?
Cullen Toomey of Mount Ida. He is, now there's a story behind this. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Cullen Toomey is a graphic design student that went to Mount Ida, a very good friend of mine.
Yeah.
He is a professor now at the San Francisco School of Art. I reached out to him to go ahead and help me with my logo, my design. But we're talking recycling. San Francisco at one point was the #1 city in the country for recycling.
Oh, wow.
In Boston, it would be between Boston and San Francisco. Now the state of Washington has gotten in the mix. So this was really created in a city that is huge on recycling.
That believes in it. He did I'll tell you what, you know what I like? It's simple, but it tells the story, right? So I look at that, I'm like, that's pretty nice. Like, that's just a very sharp logo. He did a really good job. You should thank that guy, because he really did a nice job on that. And kudos to him on the logo and everything.
So the story with the logo, real quick, we took out 6 different samples. I put it on Facebook, and I had the public.
Oh, pick which one they like better?
2, and we got the public feedback as well.
That's good. That's smart.
So then we did the Harveys. I had the T-shirts. I had the process, and my mind was, how am I going to get work now? What is the best way to do this? And real estate agents. And I think I sent you this, because this is coming to the time where you and I hadn't scheduled an interview for your office.
Yep.
Okay. And I had watched your videos and knew, we played college basketball together, and I was just amazed because of your success and how much hard work you really put into really building your brand. So I said to myself, I need to reach out to 3,200 Keller Williams agents. I found the list, and I just emailed and phone called, and then eventually someone had put us in contact. And when I sat down with you, I just remember you kicking my butt in basketball all those years, beating Mount Ida, and I was like, man. And then something really clicked is when you sat down and you said, I'm number 1 in Keller Williams. And I thought to myself, all right, number 1 New England, that's pretty cool. And you were like, no, I'm number 1 in the U.S. And I sat back and I was like, wow. I was like, okay. I wasn't nervous about playing you in basketball. Now, wow, that was a pretty nervous moment. But that meeting really helped me, I think, because your message was really strong. It was, you got to get up every day, and you have to grind. You have to find ways to get your brand out there. You can't give up. You got to meet everybody you possibly can. And you got to make sure that the product you put out is a product that you believe in, and that the people that are behind the product believe in it as much as you do. And, from that moment on, when I had left your office, I was like, that's what I got to do. And you saw all winter. I was going to all different offices. I built a lot of relationships. A lot of people wanted to help me because obviously a new business owner, you want to be able to take different ideas from different people and implement it into your brand. So then part of our discussion was, it was a big hit, was the green buck. You remember the green buck?
Yeah.
What Green Team has is we have these $25 green bucks. And what they originally were planned to be was to hand out to our customers after we do a job, so they could refer us out to their clients for $25 off of, their friends and families for $25 off of junk removal. Well, I brought the idea to the Habitat resale store in Ashland. And what Habitat for Humanity is they're a charity that at these stores, they sell recycled and reusable items, and that profit goes to building homes for people that need them. And they took to it perfectly. They loved it. I sat down with the director, and she was like, I really like this idea. I want to put this in our stores. So our green bucks are on the counters of the stores. So when people come in and they say, hey, you need a clean out, well, here's the Green Team.
Oh, that's awesome.
We'll clean, and we'll bring everything back. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
That's a great kind of full circle right there.
Exactly.
That's brilliant.
And then they also asked, they said, would you be interested in doing deliveries for us too? Because we're backed up on our deliveries. So for a fee,
you deliver for them?
We do deliveries for them, and we bring the stuff to the families. And the relationship has done amazing. We've gone from the store now from Ashland, the Green Bus being in Ashland, and now this week they just rolled out in Worcester.
So you're in 2 Habitat for Humanity?
I'm in 2 Habitats.
Your goal, right, this is just kind of me talk, you need to get in all of them in Massachusetts. You need to now, for the next 12 months, say each quarter I should get in 3 more. You should try to get in 3 more, so by next year you have 12 more that you're in, and that's an achievable goal. Yes. Right? That's what you should do. One thing about you that I like, that I think you may not even realize, is you're so fearless in the sense, like, you just go. You don't even know any better. Like, you just go. Like, not many people would go introduce themselves to the owner or the president or CEO of Habitat for Humanity at whatever Ashland, right?
Yeah.
And not too many people would go to Harvey's and sit down with the guy who owns it and ask them how to recycle.
Yes.
So, like, to your own, like, you don't even understand how important that fearlessness is to your success, because that's what's going to keep driving you. Just stay on that path where you really don't care, and you just keep going. Like, you need to be the best to the client, but at the same time with these partnerships, fearless in the sense to introduce yourself.
Yes.
And if you can continue to do that, you should be able to grow this bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, how many trucks do you have?
Right now, we got 2 on the road.
So you have 2, what are they, dump trucks?
They're box trucks.
2 box trucks?
Yes.
So 2 box trucks, are they all
we're working on that.
Wrapped out? That's what you need to do too.
Yep.
So you should. So I have from me now. We have a car that's wrapped with my face and logo and all that stuff.
I love that marketing.
Yeah, so,
I do.
So it works. So your box trucks are even better because
Yeah.
you have way bigger panels. So you have huge panels that you can market on, and by not doing that, you're missing that.
That's
you're
very
definitely
true.
missing that marketing. That's a free billboard.
I think as we talked, year 1 was what we talked about, and then getting brand exposure, getting those partnerships really built up, and then year 2 now is just infrastructure, getting that equipment, getting the name going, and that's getting that infrastructure really strong.
You have to, because if you grow too fast and you don't have that back end, you're going to fall on your face.
Yes.
So that infrastructure, that process, that system has to be so on point that you can then transfer that to another location, or you can then expand into other locations, right?
Exactly.
So right now you're in a position where, yeah, great, you can do these different locations that you're in now, right? You could service them,
Yeah.
But over time, to grow, your infrastructure has to be so ironclad that it's irreplaceable.
Yes.
Right. So you, like I said, in my opinion, I love the fearlessness. I think that's fantastic. I'm really into that. And I think that you can continue to grow this thing. And I'm a believer in the cause. I'm a believer in what you do. And I love the backstory. So, like, for me, when you go introduce yourself to other people that want to become a partner with you, it's a really easy solution for them. You have to love the story.
Yeah.
Right? You started from a Celtics game at halftime, and you've built it to where it is. You have to love the drive and the ambition and effort to move on. So who wouldn't want to kind of partner with that?
Yeah.
And the beauty is you're a small business. You're not a franchise that's, throughout the U.S. right now.
No.
So when people see small businesses, they typically want to help them.
Yes.
Right? So if your price is even close to a 1-800-JUNK and you're a little higher than Joe Junk Guy, you're going to probably get that bid.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, that consumer is going to feel more comfortable with you.
One of the things that I take pride in with my company, and I think you've noticed this, is giving back.
Yeah, you have to. We give back a ton on my end too.
Yes. If we really wanted to get into our backstories of our childhoods, mine wasn't the best. I think where recycle and use my uncle and my aunt, they did a great job raising me. They took me out of a situation that was awful. But I think with the recycle and the reuse, I think that's where it hits home for me. Is really helping families in need. So for an example, we met a family in Brockton last year. The church helped her get the apartment. She had no furniture. The town of Holliston came together. I brought the truck. We brought her furniture for her and her son for that house.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff.
So,
like
see.
those kind of stories are like, those are the feel goods. That's like real stuff that you're helping people do.
Yeah.
So like, you're not out here doing your thing and not worried about the community. You're giving back to the community as you're growing.
Exactly.
Right? Which is huge, which is important. And you're in a position with your business that you can do that. You can transport. Like, I can't do that. I can't pick up, you know what I mean? That's just not my business. I don't own box trucks. I can't go and deliver. But what I can do is help donate to that family.
Exactly.
And that's typically what we do, is we help donate so they can have the material items that they don't have.
And I also like how you donate to the
tons of teams.
Basketball.
Every possible team in around. I have more jerseys and teams and photos, but you know what? I love helping out kids, and I feel like kids that are fortunate or unfortunate all deserve the same amount of help. So I coach everything. I coach football for my daughter. I coach soccer, basketball, softball. So I'm all about helping out the youth and giving them that foundation.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I mean, Hey, at the end of the day, I'm glad you came on. We're coming to the end of the episode, but I appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
I think this is very inspirational for people. I can't wait for this to hit live and hit all the, all the social media accounts.
You were my inspiration.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny you say that because how many times would I send you texts at 1 o'clock in the morning? You're like, oh my God. But then you saw the progress. You're like, keep going.
Keep going. You got to keep grinding. So with that, I want to say thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you having you on, and have a good day.